Netflix, the largest streaming service, releases content that can either be a home run, such as One Piece, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and the Extraction films. On the other side of the spectrum, they can also fail to entrust projects to competent and professional teams that respect the source material, examples being Cowboy Bebop, The Witcher, and the recent /incoming Snyder flop, Rebel Moon. Well, as we head towards the end of the first quarter, you can add another piece to the giant dung pile that is Damsel.
That is one big pile of shit.
Beneath the terrible writing, and once again the never-ending push of sending
the message,
it becomes clear right at the start of the show that it had a huge financial backing behind it. $60 to $70 million huge, according to sources. The star power of Millie Bobby Brown and Robin Wright were insufficient to carry this film.
It's not about money, it's about sending a message. Everything burns.
But Grae, aren't you overreacting? Sure, there are countless pandering movies and TV shows, but maybe this one just rubbed you the wrong way? Well, pardon my pessimism. Why don't we take a look at how it begins, and you be the judge.
There are many stories of chivalry, where the heroic knight saves the damsel in distress. This is not one of them.
Yep, no propaganda in this film, that's for sure. Enter girl boss Princess Elodie with the help of her younger sister Floria, gathering and chopping wood for their kingdom, because women are strong and independent, you see. Returning home, Elodie encounters a red-robed woman conversing with her father, Lord Bayford, to discover shortly thereafter that they had struck a deal, revealing that she is an emissary of Auria, a large wealthy kingdom that is seeking a young woman who is compatible to marry the heir to the throne, Prince Henry. And you will never guess who is up for sale. Lord Bayford, a white man, and an excellent candidate for Father of the Year, immediately urges Elodie to accept the proposal for the survival of their people, because God forbid you let white men be the good guys. And let's not forget Elodie and Floria have a stepmother, Lady Bayford, who is a person of color. Oh gee, I wonder why the showrunners decided to have a black stepmother instead of their actual biological mother, who would have likely had similar physical characteristics as the children. How very mysterious indeed. So anyway, off the family goes to Auria for the wedding to commence. Fast forward from the excessively long foreshadowing of the voyage and settling in Auria, the Bayfords finally meet the Queen Isabel and her son Prince Henry. Both white, if I may add. During Elodie's stay in Auria, and with Queen Isabel being hyperbolically apathetic and harsh towards Lady Bayford, who could have guessed that not all is as it seems? Shocker, at the night before the wedding, Lady Bayford tells Elodie that pushing through with this not-so-suspicious marriage proposal maybe isn't such a good idea. But Elodie chooses to continue with it anyway. From here on, there will be much more fast-forwarding because, trust me, I am doing us both a favor. In a jaw-dropping twist, the wedding was actually a ruse, and Elodie was taken in as another sacrifice for the dragon that dwells underneath the caverns of Auria. Because you see, they have struck a deal centuries ago. In exchange for the safety of Auria, the dragon must receive sacrificial daughters of every generation of the royal bloodline. The Aurian king and his troops in the past were trying to defend themselves against this evil beast, but ultimately failed with some details obviously cut because again, not all is as it seems. You can probably guess where this shallow plot is going. If not, here's a hint. The king and his men were all white. The bulk of the film is Elodie evading the dragon in the caves with plot armor that has more concrete than the Great Wall of China. What's more is somehow Elodie is able to piece together what actually happened with the help of the lingering spirits of the past sacrifices.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Because the quote-unquote evil dragon is not what it seems, you see. What they didn't tell you in the flashback story is that the king actually tried to hunt down the dragon unprovoked, leading him and his troops to its lair, where they find 3 hatchlings that they butchered immediately. Those evil, pesky white men are nothing but trouble. What a revelation! With the slaughter of the dragon's younglings, it flew into a rage and annihilated all of the king's troops, but sparing his life, because the dragon wanted him to suffer more. And thus the pact of sacrificing royal bloodline daughters for generations was forged. How did the spirits of past sacrifices remain in the caves all those years? How did they know about the true story of the old king? Why did the dragon think that a bunch of hooligans who murdered its young will honor the pact? I have no idea, because good writing is for losers. But Grae, maybe there are some cool fighting sequences that help elevate this movie? Perhaps a climatic final confrontation between Elodie and the dragon? Well, again, I will let you be the judge. But keep in mind that literally none of the military-trained soldiers of Oria managed to land a single blow. Zero. Zilch. And yet Elodie, a princess, somehow single-handedly manages to do this. If you already thought that that was laughably terrible, you should see how the battle concludes. Burn me! Honestly, I think it would have been better had the movie ended right then and there. But keep your belt strapped on, as we still have some ways to go. As the dragon was in critical condition, Elodie tells it that they were both deceived, because the reason why the dragon thought Elodie and all the prior sacrifices were daughters of the royal Orient blood is because the family has been spilling their own blood to an open wound of the women they deceive, causing the dragon to think that all the sacrifices that they offered were of royal blood but actually weren't. Fast forward, and Elodie finally escapes the caves and confront Queen Isabel and Prince Henry. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, this is how that concludes. So you may be wondering how the dragon got back in perfect form so quickly. Well, you see, I did withhold some information. As Elodie was in the caves evading the dragon, she encounters an abundance of shiny blue magical worms that have special properties that quickly heal all physical wounds. Way to kill off any thrill and suspense in a supposedly thriller segment of the movie.
I am deeply sorry for underestimating you.
So girl boss Elodie now all of a sudden is not just a skilled fighter, but now also commands a dragon that incinerated the evil white people. Oh, I forgot. So what happened to Lord Bayford? Well, he also died at the hands of the dragon while searching for Elodie in the caves. Apparently, he had a change of heart and wanted to get Elodie back. But again, he is a white man, so off with his head. So in the end, Elodie, Floria, and Lady Bayford, the only person of color who is coincidentally also the only good adult of the show, rule their kingdom together. Look, I am not getting into these movies expecting thought-provoking concepts or deep philosophical values that question my way of life. But for Christ's sake, at least make the effort to add depth to your story and character growth if you want your film to tick the DEI/ESG checklist. And can we please stop having women act like men, as if being a woman is something that needed to be rectified in the first place? There's only so much that visuals, cinematography, and star power can do to uplift a film, because at the end of the day, it is all about the compelling narrative and characters that are not one-dimensional and go through the hero's journey that will make a story truly memorable. Unfortunately, that's just not Damsel. It is trite, forgettable, and once again a pandering movie for modern audiences. Is it Madame Web bad? No, but that is hardly setting the bar, or any bar for that matter. Do not watch Damsel. It is everything you have probably presumed, and perhaps even worse. Thank you for watching, and do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.